And now, Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell, Blank. And Tyler, first of all, happy Easter. Second of all, happy WrestleMania weekend. WrestleMania is over. We wanted to come on here and do a quick recap and do something a little bit different. But before we get into it, and I'm sure you're going to explain to the people what we're up to, how are you doing?
I've been better. I'm angry, Brad. I'm
not happy. Yeah,
genuinely, legit. So happy to see you. It's been, we're just getting off of a very busy week, and this Easter weekend, filled with many blessings. Also very busy and very dynamic. Happy to be here. Very excited to see you, and I can also be pissed at what we just saw from WrestleMania weekend. It's not all bad. I'm not totally down bad in my EST shirt. But I'm a little bit down bad. I'm angry. I'm disappointed. I have questions. I also have headlines, though. We are going to trade WrestleMania headlines. Very excited to see what stood out to you, Brad. Like I said, in all seriousness, all is well. I'm grateful. I'm excited for what we're about to get into. How are you doing? How's Easter?
It was great. It was, man, I've had so much sugar today. I'm not used to having this volume of sugar enter my body, but the jelly beans, so many jelly beans. I'll probably floss twice before I go to bed, but it was nice. It was great to be with family. Freya had a wonderful time.
Yes.
The Easter Bunny was a little too good to her. Tyler, I don't know what your Easter experience was growing up, but because we're about a decade apart, so maybe this is a thing. So I'm curious, how many big toys did you get for Easter?
Oh, wow. I definitely got my fair share. I can remember probably my favorite Easter year. The Easter Bunny came through, and I was gifted this I was gonna say a package. There's a word for it. Like the little handle, there's a word.
Oh, the basket?
Basket.
Yeah, Easter
Thank
basket.
you.
Yeah.
Easter basket. My rage is impacting my vocabulary ability.
Yeah.
The Easter basket. My favorite basket one year was an Allen Iverson themed.
Oh wow!
So I had an AI sweatband. I think at that time probably an Allen Iverson DVD, one of the many documentaries about him. So not so much. I don't recall a lot of big toys, but I do remember every year the Easter Bunny hooked me up with a themed basket, where it was Allen Iverson,
That's cool.
or it was wrestling, but I certainly got big toys, especially when I was younger. And it sounds like Freya did well also. The Easter Bunny doesn't only travel to the valley. The Easter Bunny hits up Marana as well.
The Easter Bunny was kind, brought a lot of bigger gifts. I'm not gonna say big gifts, but like the Easter Bunny came with some toys.
She deserves it.
I was confused because you see, when I was growing up, when I was back in my day, the Easter Bunny brought Easter candy. And that's the list. There were no Easter toys. The kids that had some wealth in their family, maybe a kid got a bike, or maybe we got a kite. But we weren't getting all this stuff. It was, you got jelly beans, some Cadbury eggs, maybe some Robin eggs, maybe some Cadbury mini eggs. That's kind of the list. There wasn't a lot of other stuff in there. You got the green straw, and then you ran around the house trying to find crap that Easter Bunny was dropping all over the house for you. And this was like a trail of jelly beans throughout the homestead here. And at the end of each of the trail was a little gift. The Easter Bunny came and brought Winnie several things too. A couple of toy balls and so a couple of bags of treats.
Okay,
yeah.
Winnie got broken off some of that too. I love it.
Yeah. And when I saw that the Easter Bunny got Robux for the gift cards to spend money on Roblox. And it was the Easter Bunny brought $45 worth of these. And I thought, Easter Bunny, what are we doing here? You can't eat these. This doesn't.
Peeps? Anyone got Peeps?
There were several
Roblox?
different Peeps and Peeps related items. lots of marshmallows, either covered with chocolate or by themselves flavored marshmallows. Yeah, there was a lot of spring fare, but like within it, it's like there's a magic 8 ball, and wow, look at that, those Play-Doh eggs, and really cool stuff. Don't get me wrong, I was just like, I never got any merch. Like it was eat your sugar.
No, I think
That was
that I was
kind
gonna
of it.
say the way of the future. I think that's just the present now, Brad. I think the Easter
Yeah.
Bunny is I think the Easter Bunny has evolved over the years. How's that? It sounds like
The-
Freya and Winnie are reaping the rewards
yeah.
of this new Easter Bunny.
The Easter Bunny definitely knows about day trading. I feel like the Easter Bunny definitely has offshore accounts and is highly invested in things like Hasbro and Mattel and probably things like Kraft and Hershey or the Mars Company or whoever makes Peeps. I don't even know who makes Peeps. I don't know who's
either.
churning these things out.
No.
For all I know, it's Marie Callender. I have no idea. All I know is that she's tearing through the solid or semi-solid chocolate bunny. She ate like half of it and couldn't finish all of it. But the second half I know is going to be a problem for me tomorrow. And speaking of, the second half of the basketball season is here, and the race to the playoffs is heating up. Well, it's kind of here now. On Prize Picks, the best place to cash in on your favorite sports. Don't miss your chance to cash in on the league's best fight for playoff positioning takes place. Sign up today and get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed when you use the promo code CLNS. Prize Picks also offers weekly promotions that can lead to big payouts and is available in more than 30 states, including California, Texas, Georgia, and Florida. Prize Picks is truly the best way to win real money with all the various opportunities to play and collect your winnings. Due to the enormous selection of players and stat types available, we can mix and match our playing strategies based on our personal preferences. I might take Cade Cunningham for more than 7 assists. Tyler might watch me take Cade Cunningham for more than 7 assists. Do you think Steph Curry will get more than 5 3-pointers next week? Listen, man, we got copy that is pre-playoff copy. I'm going to put this out there. I know Mike Steph's going to be taking his Knicks to I don't know what Nick player he's going to take, but it's going to be to take down my Pistons. I'm not happy about it, so I'm staying with the Cade for 7 assists. Hopefully 50 burgers every night, and they get back out of this 0-1 hump. Cook up hot takes with your friends and win real money this basketball season when you and your crew run your game on Prize Picks. And for those who love a quick win, Prize Picks is the way to go. You can make your picks and submit your entry in less than 60 seconds. So what are you waiting for? Download the app today and use the code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Remember, with Prize Picks, it's as simple as picking more or picking less. Again, that's promo code CLNS to get $50 after you play your first $5 lineup. Gimmick infringement is rocking with Prize Picks, and you should too. Prize Picks, run your game. Tyler, it's time for headlines. Hit me with your first headline.
Wow. Okay. Headline number 1. Right winners. This is a long headline. I tried to massage it to make it good, but I'm just going to just emotion for this first one. It gets better as we go on. I'm pacing myself. Headline number 1. Right winners. How we got there. Inconsistent. So I'm thinking of Seth Rollins, night 1 winner, which you and I called, by the way, weeks and weeks ago. We said this is Seth's time. Even before we got the teases of Paul Heyman joining him, you and I were definitely on the Seth Rollins needs the win here.
Yeah.
Definitely the right call. How we got there, the Paul Heyman of it all, the soap opera of Paul Heyman. It's a little heavy-handed for me, right winner. Io Sky, we also were advocating for Io. I didn't want Bianca Belair to be pinned. I thought to myself, okay, the Bianca streak is still intact. What if she loses the match, but she's not the woman to get pinned? What if Rhea takes the pin? Can we still keep the Bianca is undefeated? If maybe not undefeated, has never been pinned at WrestleMania. So anyway, that's gone. I still have my shirt, but the streak is gone. I'm glad Io won, however. So again, we have a pattern here. The New Day, finally, they're strapped up. Brad, I don't know about you. I nor I would say 99% of the crowd in Las Vegas cared about the War Raiders versus the New Day whatsoever. Again, right winners, how we got there, how we built this match over the last few weeks and months.
It's terrible.
Very lackluster. What time are we at in this episode? We're still within 10 minutes, just about 10 minutes. The main event of night 2. Full disclosure, you and I are recording about 30 minutes after John Cena versus Cody.
Yeah, you came in here hot.
It's tough. It's gimmick infringement. I'm up, but I'm also very, very angry. The right winner. I'm not mad at John Cena taking the dub. He should win. He is now the record breaker, 17-time champ. Las Vegas, very pro John Cena. It was kind of jarring. I didn't really expect that. But the Travis Scott interference,
woof.
And this is classic wrestling, the ref bump, it just, I couldn't believe what I was watching. Happy Cena won, definitely the right move. No sign of The Rock since Elimination Chamber, hardly even mentioned.
Yeah.
Travis Scott helps John Cena become champ again. Right winners, the path to get there, inconsistent, and bless you.
Thank you.
And
couldn't get to the mute.
leading me to question a lot of my life decisions. That's my first headline. What you got, Brad? Can you get us back up?
No. Not after that. I'm depressed now. Listen, you're not wrong. I had the same thoughts about almost everything. The Bianca pin, I don't care. Like that, you care a lot more about that part than I do, because the streak doesn't mean anything to me. The streak is what, 3 years, 4 years long, 5 years long. It's not. She's not Taker. She didn't have 20 years of streak. Like, I'm not worried about it. They're gonna kill those streaks way ahead. Nobody's ever touching Undertaker ever. So that I like whatever. I didn't want Rhea or Bianca to get pinned, and if Io was going to win, somebody had to get pinned. I thought we were heading toward a smash 'em and stack 'em situation, and she was just going to pin both of them to make a point, which would have made more sense, because then both of them are protected. Bianca loses the streak, but you're not pinning Rhea to sacrifice Bianca's streak, because nobody wanted Rhea to get pinned either. So somebody had to. And Io was the right choice.
And I was fine how that went down with, Bianca, I think she hit the KOD on Rhea, was pinning her.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Right, and then Io hit the over the moonsault pin.
Yes, while they were on the pin. Okay, let's talk about that before we move on here, because it's not part of my headline, but you brought up like the path to getting there. Okay. Yeah. The finish of that was a wrestler, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hits another wrestler with their finisher. Mm-hmm. And then basically a dive mm-hmm. to counter that and then pin it. Okay. How did the Fatal 4-Way end? Oh, it's the exact same way. Yeah. The exact same way. Yeah. Not a little bit similar. The exact same way. Yeah. Only it wasn't a moonsault. It was a frog splash, but it was the exact same thing. And I was like, how are you going to do the exact same finish in two multi-man or multi-woman matches on the same night of the same car? Like, oh my God. How does
we got to communicate
catch that?
We got to communicate better.
That's crazy.
By the way, have I not been consistent in my Raw viewing? Is Dominic Mysterio a fan favorite now, or is this an anomaly?
They've been kind of building it as Finn's this big bully character, but like this version of Finn isn't like hateable. He just kind of sucks.
It's great value, Finn Balor.
Yeah, it's like nobody's buying it.
No,
I feel like he's being like really sleazy, but it's like, it's the kind of sleazy that's like the car salesman, where you just be like, I'm just gonna go to the other lot. Like it's easy to avoid. I don't really even go around it.
Give it some Jim Click vibes. I've never been to a Jim Click dealership, but I know in Tucson.
I have several times. It's just I don't care about that character. Like, he hasn't given me a reason to care about him, which is crazy. It's Finn Balor. I need him to go back to like old Finn, and I don't care which Finn shows up. Prince Devitt showing up would be better than this thing right now. I'm not a fan. With Judgment Day, maybe with something else it would be okay, but it's just vibes are weird. I think I thought it was awesome. But yeah, people I think were ready to see it. He is a bit of a fan favorite. He became so easy and fun to hate that it became fun to watch because he's so fun to hate. And now it's just fun. I think that's where we are. I think it's like I'm not comparing him to The Rock here, but The Rock getting booed and then suddenly he's so bad he's good. So now we cheer him. I kind of feel like that's where we are with Dominic. Okay, my first headline, pretty simple, pretty straightforward, very brief. Stephanie Vaquer, super over with the main roster audience. I was really happy to hear there was like, this person's in attendance. This person was in attendance. It was at the announcement of AAA being acquired by the WWE, and they were highlighting luchadors in the company. Biggest pop there was Stephanie, not Rey Mysterio, not anybody else that was there. It was Stephanie Vaquer. And I thought there's no way they keep holding on to her. She has to go to the main roster sooner than later. I'm almost positive it's going to be the Worlds Collide. It will be, she's obviously going to be featured there. There's no way she's not. But I feel like at that moment, it's like, depending on how that goes, to the main roster and then rocket ship to the moon, as they say. Oh man, I'm having flashbacks to pandemic era haunted houses. I think they underestimate, which is crazy to say, Stephanie Vaquer's value right now. And I think it was apparent that she is one of, if not right now, maybe the most popular female star in the WWE. And I don't know that they know that yet. We've known for a long time, but I don't know that I've heard the main roster audience cheer that big for somebody that's not on the main roster ever, outside of somebody that appeared tonight. I don't want to say his name because he might appear.
Talk your talk, Brad Winchester. I love that. The fact that we got even on a unique post Mania edition of DI, we can get a Steph watch.
Yes, that's exactly why I put it on there first.
I asked you to bring us up, and you did that.
Yeah,
you did that.
All right, you're gonna bring us back down.
How blessed are we? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes,
All right.
Actually, no, I'm not for the next one. This is a perfect transition for my second headline. Branching off of our NXT Women's Champ, shout out Steph Vaquer on this episode and always. Second headline: NXT wins the weekend again. I thought overall Stand and Deliver was a much better show than night 1 and night 2 of Mania. For me, it was more consistent. The highs were higher, I should say. The lows were not as low for me as either night of Mania. It was just a blast. The NXT Women's North American ladder match was awesome.
Yes.
I thought Lola Vice was going to get crowned, but totally cool with Sol Ruka getting the win. I think Sol Ruka is fantastic, and you already have a potential built-in program.
Been saying that forever. I've loved her.
Years now.
She's
for sure. She's been ready. You already have potentially a built-in program with Zarya. They were tagging, but it seems like, maybe they're heading toward a rivalry here. You pointed it out, Brad. Probably my match of the night. The women's NXT Women's Championship Fatal 4-Way. Steph Vaquer retaining against Julia, Jada Parker, and Jordan Grace. That match was fantastic. And you close the night. I'm skipping a lot of other good matches here. Hank and Tank beat Fraxium, which I was not expecting, but I found myself kind of okay with it, which even surprised me. And the main event being Obafemi v. Trick Williams v. Javon Evans. Of course, Oba retains, but again, that match, another multi-person match, which was kind of a theme or hallmark of the weekend, maybe to a fault. But that match was also incredibly enjoyable. And the star power that we're getting from NXT it's just incredible right now, man. I'm really enjoying it. You have Steph Vaquer and Obafemi at the top of your brand, and they're two of, if not my two favorite performers, probably across wrestling right now. NXT wins the weekend once again. They have two of the best performers in the entire organization. Monday, Tuesday, or Friday be damned. I thought it was a really strong showing for them. And as you pointed out, Brad, the announcement of the AAA acquisition and the fact that we're getting that June show in LA, Worlds Collide, AAA versus NXT. And as you pointed out, I suspect Steph Vaquer is going to be heavily featured. And Obafemi is probably going to win in a 2-on-1 or 3-on-1 handicap match, and all is going to be right in the world. NXT wins again.
I was really hoping Vikingo was going to be the secret opponent of Randy Orton tonight.
Yeah, you were. I remember that.
Imagine the RKO off of
yeah.
a 750,000 turn somersault from the top turnbuckle and then out to the outside. Randall hits him through a table with an RKO.
Yeah, he's going to be heavily featured on that World's Collide. I wonder.
Yeah. There's no way he's not.
I don't think
he was at the announcement. I don't know if you got to see the actual.
Yeah, I saw the
press conference thing, but I
saw that. Yeah. I don't think they're going to put him against Obafemi, even though Vikingo has a huge name. I think maybe that'll be an opportunity
Axiom.
for. Yeah, I was thinking maybe he goes after Ricky Starks, but an Axiom or Nathan Frazier match.
Nathan Frazier is the one.
That would be too good.
That's the one. Yeah.
That would be too
or
good.
Just throw all of them in there. Yeah.
And shout out to friend of the show and multi-time guest George Romero. He put me on. He let me know that Alberto Del Rio is the main men's champ in AAA right now.
I did not realize that.
So Brad, if this okay, is it possible? And then I want to hear your headline because I'm going long. Is it possible that this summer we get Tessa Blanchard and Alberto Del Rio mixing it up in NXT? Because I'm ready to take back everything I just said, waving the NXT flag. I think we could live in a world where this summer we're getting both of them popping up, and I don't know if I'm good with that. It's possible. It's all signs point to this, does it not? I think Tessa's winning at Rebellion against Masha Slamovich next Sunday. We'll talk about that soon.
I know. I don't know, man. I'm
concerned.
I'm trying to hope. I'm hoping not. I'm looking right now. I looked up Alberto Del Rio and I was trying to see if there was anything kind of newer. But there's a report note on Alberto El Patron, which is something that I'm trying not to read all at the last second here. Some people said that it was even skeptical of the announcement. What I thought was interesting, Tyler, was that at the meeting, it was enter into a partnership from the AAA side, but Michael Cole going, WWE has acquired AAA. So I was like, okay. All right. I don't really know. Probably just a bunch of legal jargon.
Yeah. It was impressive that they could keep it under wraps.
Yeah.
In the times that we're living in, fact, I don't know about you. Obviously, I was
shocked.
I was in transit this weekend, but when you broke the news to me, I thought, oh wow, the fact that they kept that so close to the vest, they handled that really well. And I'm sure, I texted you this, that June show in LA is going to go crazy.
Yeah.
And my understanding from watching Mania Night 2 was that Saturday, it's going to be Worlds Collide, I believe, as a matinee show, and then Money in the Bank in the evening, if I read that correctly.
Same city, different. It's Kia Forum and the Intuit Dome, I think is what it is.
Oh, okay. Dope.
So, but aren't they attached or something? I can't remember.
I think there's. You mean like the arenas or just the events? No, I think the Intuit Dome where the Clippers play. That's in,
that's way far away. Yeah.
I think maybe
same city though.
Is that in Inglewood proper, and then the forum's in LA proper?
Yeah,
I'm not a Cali expert. Let us know in the comments.
Same city, and people are going to come after me for that. But he's Glendale, Phoenix.
He's at Wind Duster. If you would like to reach out to him,
I'll tell you.
That's my second.
That's my ideas in your pants.
That's my second headline, though, Brad. Really impressed with NXT. A big summer to come, as it were.
Yeah,
one way or another. But I think they have so much momentum right now, and to me, they've become a more consistently enjoyable watch. But I'm putting all my cards out there. A big part of that is because I love Obafemi, and I literally have a Stephanie Vaquer 8x10 in my background. So
you sure do.
Objectivity is not necessarily my strongest suit.
Well, Tyler, you brought up momentum, and that brings me into my second headline. Liability agreements when you buy a ticket are there for a reason. Stone Cold Steve Austin ramming a four-wheeler into a barricade and potentially injuring somebody behind said barricade. I'm not really sure if they got scared and then injured themselves, because it didn't really look like the barricade moved very much. But if that person was leaning against it or up against it, they definitely got throttled. Now, Tyler, I don't know if you've ever read the back. I'm thinking of going to Chase Field and watching a D-backs game. On the back of the tickets, when they used to print them, I don't even know if that's still a thing. There is a liability waiver on the back. You're basically buying a contract when you buy a ticket to a sporting event. And within that, it says, pay attention, because if you get hit by stuff, we don't care. So that's basically what it says. So the liability agreement, I fully and forever waive any and all claims, suits, actions, causes of action, liabilities, losses, and demands claims against the released parties, and fully and forever release, discharge, and covenant not to sue the released parties from any and all claims and any and all liability or responsibility for any loss, injury, illness, and or any other damage, including death, I may sustain in any manner arising from or related to the activity, including, without limitation, any claims arising from or related to the negligent acts or omissions of the released parties or other event participants or attendees. That's one paragraph in a multi-paragraph page. But I got a text from shout out to Mike Steff. I got a text from Mike Steff saying there's going to be a lawsuit. And I was like, there's going to be a losing lawsuit. They're going to shower this person with merch to make it right. But they can sue. But as soon as you buy that contract, you're agreeing to not sue. It's already over before it starts. Wow. They have no shot. We put I doubt on there. They were like, oh, I might get hit by a four-wheeler inside of an arena in Las Vegas watching wrestling. And that's silly to think that wouldn't happen when you live in the state where Stone Cold spends most of his time, which is something that I predicted that he would show up. I knew he was going to be there for the Hall of Fame, but I thought for sure he would show up and do something, and he did. He went out there and shilled the attendance after crashing his four-wheeler. He made the right decision, which I think he broke the four-wheeler, but he made the right decision not to hammer a bunch of beers and then get on the quad. He just walked back up the ramp. So that at least made me happy that he wasn't like, I'm going to drink and then drive on this program with kids watching. At least that part was good. But man, liability agreements are a thing for a reason. That's my second headline.
Great paycheck, by the way, for Stone Cold. That was about, right? I think the toughest part was just, in my mind, navigating. Granted, this is going to shock you, Brad, and probably a lot of our fans, if you will. I don't have an extensive experience riding four-wheelers or ATVs. Again, I know that is shocking. We need a ticker on for that. But that was seemingly the toughest part of what Stone Cold was asked to do tonight. What a great 8-minute sort of, labor agreement.
Drink your branded beer. Go down there.
Announce
hit your catchphrases. Throw your fingers into the sky. Drive a four-wheeler, listen to Michael Cole howl with laughter as somebody's injured across a barricade. Right. That's the part that I was like, oh, that appears somebody might have gotten hurt. They probably would never say it on commentary anyway. But the whole time I was just like, he's just Michael Cole going, it's like, I think somebody's hurt.
Didn't Nick Khan pop up as well? Wasn't he there checking
it looked like that was Nick Khan, but I couldn't tell. It was a suit for sure.
His silhouette, it was given Nick Khan. Yeah,
definitely. And then it's kind of like the guy that I could never figure out who it was that was always there. He had like the salt and pepper curly hair that had a bit of a coif. He was always an executive that was out there. It wasn't Laurinaitis. It wasn't anything like that during the Attitude Era. If you go back and watch episodes of Raw from the Attitude Era, you're going to see this guy at like every event, and I could never figure out who he was. If you know who I'm talking about, please let me know who this man was. He's probably important, and it's like a former wrestler, and I don't know about him. No clue who this guy is. He was always there. It was kind of giving me a modern day version of that. So I have no idea. But you could also see building security back there looking concerned. It appeared that the woman was already out of there at that point. And if not, she was on the floor, which more concerning to me. But yeah, it was definitely a all hands on deck situation. But unfortunately for that person, they might be getting a whole bunch of t-shirts, and maybe they comp their seats, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe they go home with something cool. Maybe they go home with an ice pack and the hope for a paycheck that they're never going to get. I said my demand would be like, I need Paul Heyman to come substitute for my classes for one day. If he has a degree in anything, that's good enough for a teaching license in Arizona. Easy peasy. We can get him out here.
There you go. There you go. Okay, I think we're up to headline number 3. This is going to be a question, so I might be breaking the rules, but I think this will lead to a good conversation.
Could be a good headline. What the hell was that?
Are we sure 2 nights of WrestleMania is better?
I'm positive it's not.
I ask this because I'm thinking about the card that we had for WrestleMania weekend. And out of, I have it right in front of me, 14 matches, I would say, Brad Winchester, half of these, based on build, based on delivery, did not live up to the spectacle that is WrestleMania. To me, it was giving, this would have been a strong showing on hour 2 of Raw or hour 1
I'm with
of
you.
SmackDown. Now, clearly, one could argue business-wise, you had 60 plus thousand strong show up both nights. I can only imagine, you brought up merch. I can only imagine how much merch was purchased over this weekend. So if we could just put the business to the side, because I would, of course, admit it's been a boon for WWE without even knowing the specific numbers. It's clearly just doing incredibly well. But particularly this weekend, this WrestleMania 41, I thought to myself, okay, I didn't enjoy the 6-hour extravaganza that was WrestleMania of the past. But to me, it felt like, we were really grasping to put a lot of matches on this card that just wasn't befitting of the WrestleMania platform. Are we sure 2 nights is better than the old way? That's my headline number 3.
Tyler, do you remember anything about WrestleMania? I just picked a random one, 34.
34.
Specifically, do you know how many matches were on there?
Oh wow. I think this came before 34. I'm thinking of Roman and Triple H being the main event. I want to say that was in Jerry World in Dallas. How many matches were on 34? Again, I know it's not the same show. I'm going to guess there were 11 matches on that card.
There were 14 total.
Wow.
But 3 of them were pre-show.
Right. Oh, okay.
So you are right. There were 11. There's no pre-show matches on these cards. So we have the same exact amount of matches that we had in previous years, just 3 of them aren't on the pre-show. So without a pre-show, if you want to think of another way, we're getting things you would consider pre-show matches put on the main cards, to your point, which would be like the thing that went to Raw. 34, one of the pre-show matches was Matt Hardy winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royale.
I remember that.
Or Battle Royal, excuse me. And Matt Hardy last eliminating Baron Corbin as a headline, and then Cedric Alexander defeating Mustafa Ali in the Cruiserweight Championship tournament is wild. And then the third pre-show match was Naomi eliminating Bayley in the Women's Battle Royal.
Wow. And for the record, what I said before does not apply to Jade versus Naomi. I am glad that made it to the Mania card. I was actually
it deserved it.
Yeah, absolutely. I was actually quite happy with the match itself. I'm just looking at the card once again here. El Grande Americano versus Rey Fenix.
Right. Pointless.
I could have done without that. Again, I mentioned New Day versus War Raiders. I'm glad New Day won, but that match could have been eliminated for me. Dare I say Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest? And you know how much how much I love Drew. Logan Paul, AJ Styles, we haven't even talked about yet.
I don't want to.
Lyra Valkyria becoming a tag champ with a returning Becky Lynch. Of course, with Becky coming back, that has to be on Mania. But, that match in and of itself, Randy Orton defeating Joe Hendry in a 3-minute match. I have thoughts. I'm gonna save that for a little bit later. Maybe one night of WrestleMania is the way to go. I know there's no chance of that, Brad, but especially with the context you're giving me, I just didn't think I would be in a place where you and I would be speaking on the night of night 2 post show, and I would be thinking, you know what, maybe I want to go back to the 2014 setup where we were 6 hours deep into a show.
Yeah, thinking about it, it's the IC title match. It had story, like it had a build. Penta was just kind of there I think they were like, oh, what do we do with Penta? Let's put him in that. He's earned the spot to fight for the IC title, but everybody else had story, right? Like Finn's been going after Braun, and Dom has been beefing with everybody in the Judgment Day, it feels like, or at least with Finn, and then looking around for chicken tendies. Braun just wants to fight everybody.
Yeah.
So,
You have to highlight Braun Breaker, even in a losing effort.
Yeah.
He's clearly one of the centerpieces of
so
the
that made
company.
total sense to me to have that on the card. Also, it was a really fun match.
But the women's tag, they just had a gauntlet.
Yes.
Just on SmackDown. And the gauntlet winner, one half, is the IC champ.
Well, New Day and the Viking Raiders, War Raiders, whatever they're called. Both of them, they wrestled like the SmackDown before, or the Raw before, whatever one it was. They just wrestled each other. Why are we doing this? Why are we running it back? It just made no sense to me. The Jacob Fatu LA Knight feud's been going on for a while, so I have no problem with that. You could trace that back to the he wasn't using his inside voice, so I tossed his ass outside. It's one of my favorite moments of the year.
You have to highlight both. LA Knight is money, and Jacob Fatu is as hot as anyone in the company.
That Fatu winning, great call.
Call. Winners.
That LA Knight counter was so good. Mm-hmm. I actually really enjoyed that match.
I did. I wanted some of these matches to go longer.
Yes.
We had a lot of 10-minute matches, which again was giving me we could have just saw this on Netflix on Monday or on Friday. And I thought WrestleMania, you at least got to give us some 15, dare I say 20 minute. Let your talent cook on a nearly 4-hour show. If we're getting less than 90 minutes of in-ring action,
it's crazy. It's great. There was so many commercial breaks and setups and
so many.
Wait,
and I get your bread. Get your bread.
Yeah.
But I also want to be satiated as a fan.
Yeah. It's nice to take your breath, but like I went and did something in the kitchen. I went and got something, talked to Jazz or something. I started I cranked the TV up in the bedroom, and then I opened the door, and Fred, nobody could hear it because their TV was so loud. But it was when Joe Hendry came out, I howled. I was so pumped because I'll play that song and Freya will be very upset at that song.
Really?
Yeah, because it gets stuck in her head.
Oh,
so
yeah, it is. Joe did his thing with that one.
Yeah, it's
brilliant.
It is brilliant, dude. I just put my foot down and injured myself. At some point, someday, when you have kids going to be on here, I'm gonna say my thing. This is a press-on nail that I just tried to adjust my seat by pushing down with my heel on the floor, and my heel landed on that plastic press-on sharp ass nail. It was just in my heel. We're gonna have a conversation later. Man, you think Legos are bad? Okay, my headline. Speaking of how you kind of look at it, some of these could have been different night. Women's wrestling should have main evented night 2 of WrestleMania. I also feel like this was the alternate one. The nights should have flip-flopped. Night 1 should have been Cena Cody, and then night 2 could have been the Paul Heyman ending. And then everybody goes into Raw talking about that instead of whimpering out, going like, so that happened. I feel like that's where a lot of people are going to be today. But women's wrestling, this should have straight up main evented night 2. I don't know where you move things around. Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte Flair, they were hitting each other so hard to start that match. And then as soon as Charlotte shoved Tiffany in the face and Tiffany hauled off, I was like, okay, I'm not sure where this goes. I think they might actually try to kill each other here. I was legitimately scared. And if you can get me that invested, okay, I'm in. I also couldn't tell if she had just blood, some lipstick stuck on there, or if her teeth got knocked in, because there's the shape of her teeth on the bottom did not look the same as when she went into the match. I'm hoping Tiffany's okay. Hopefully they just got banged around a little bit in there and that's it. Maybe no apples for a little while, but I'm really hoping that she's okay. That was great. But that triple threat was so good. That was so good, Tyler. I know that isn't going to replace John Cena and Cody Rhodes because just the magnitude of what it represents. So I get it, but looking at that ending, you could have put that in the middle. You could have stuck it anywhere else except for at the end. I would have given it to Io Bianca, Rhea, but you also could have put Tiffany and Charlotte in there somewhere. I think that the opener of the show made a lot of sense. Here's my real issue with it. On paper, I feel like they booked this show pretty well in terms of match order. I thought they nailed it. For what it is on paper, it's just like there was no surprise at the end. There was no. It was Travis.
No Rock.
No Rock.
Where's
no,
DJ?
No,
you gotta have
anything, man.
You gotta have him.
You're gonna have you're gonna have some pretender come out. Oh God. Also, maybe I'll change one of my headlines here to talk about how we gotta have a multi-song soundtrack for a show if it's 2 nights long. My God, I'm so sick of it.
Fiend.
You're gonna play that between every single match,
and then he enters with it.
And then his entrance music is that song. I was like, this is
some people love them. Some Travis Scott of all ages, of all genders, and
I don't get it because that music's
and
not
hues
good.
and creeds.
It's just
I'm
not
like,
good.
This is ear, to borrow a phrase from one of my dear friends here. It's ear poison.
Yes,
he's just saying fiend.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Like this isn't.
It was so bad.
Feel like art to me.
No.
This is just repetition and
yeah.
I have a headline that's branching off of yours, Brad. My penultimate, my fourth headline: new rule. 1 additional ref has to be ringside moving forward. This is such a trope in wrestling, and I think there's a way if you do it creatively, where you can still potentially have the occasional interference or the occasional fugazi ending. But this is such a trope. And the fact that we saw it in the main event of WrestleMania, John Cena, Cody Rhodes, you get the ref bump, a really soft ref bump, by the way.
Yeah, it's a brush.
Yeah. And you're closing WrestleMania weekend with Travis Scott and Cody Rhodes going face to face. This is an alternate headline, by the way. Travis Scott, I know I'm really ragging on this dude. I'm sure he loves his mother and is doing okay for the world. I hope. Travis Scott, least intimidating man walking earth. Yeah. This guy is like 130. I just like seeing him versus Cody. I was like, why doesn't Cody just slap the stuff out of this guy and keep it pushing? The fact that you want me to believe that they are equals in any sort of way, or that Cody would do anything less than just wrecking this dude on site was just, it was beyond me, Brad. But then the conclusion of WrestleMania, the conclusion of this match, the match of the weekend, dare I say, Cody Rhodes, John Cena fighting over the championship, which John Cena was trying to use illegally. They fight over it. Cody now has possession of the belt, and he is having an internal conflict for what felt like 45 seconds.
It was so long, man.
Of whether or not to hit John Cena, even though we've seen Cody on his gangsta stuff before. Like, we've seen Cody have an edge. Like, people are doubting me. Everyone wants something from me. Like, we've seen him embrace that side. But on the biggest stage of them all, he freezes. Internal conflict. I want to be a good guy. John Cena low blows him. Cena gets the belt, cracks him over. Ref miraculously now, John Cena grabs the ref. The ref miraculously has a full health bar, comes in the ring. 1, 2, 3, and it's over. That's how John Cena becomes a record-breaking champ, all because the trope of you only have one ref present. Brad, can we at least, I try not to ask for too much, can we at least get a ref in Gorilla who is on the go, who is assigned for when this happens? I just thought it was such a bad way to end the night. I'm curious to hear what everyone thinks. Again, please get at us if you're watching on YouTube. Let us know in the comments. Follow us on across the social spaces at GIPod19. I just thought, man, it's one thing if we get a ref bump during the weekend. That is bound to happen across every wrestling company, but to have it in the main event, it was giving me everything I didn't want to see from this weekend. Again, the right guy won, but my goodness, how we got there. Ref bump, Travis Scott going nose to nose with the WWE champion, and then John Cena low blow belt shot, and that's how he wins. Are you kidding me? That was terrible.
My thought when I saw him come out with the belt is the thing that I'll never be able to unsee. It's the picture of him holding the microphone with the flames behind him, and it looks like he's wearing a kabuki mask, because it's just like, it looked like his jaw like detached from his body. And it's just, I've never seen anybody open their mouth wider than that in my life. You could put a whole grapefruit in there sideways. It's crazy. So anyway, that's all I could, when I see him, it's like, that's the guy.
I just don't get it.
Like a Tuscan Raider.
And Brad, you and I
man.
know lots of youngsters, big market for Travis Scott. I get if you're saying Travis Scott is
and
talented.
Logan Paul, obviously.
Yeah. I get if you're saying, in the case of Travis Scott in particular, I get if you're saying, you know what, he's actually talented. I actually love his music. Okay, we just have different tastes. Again, I don't think I'm Travis Scott's demographic, but if you're trying to sell me on Travis Scott is in any way intimidating, that Cody can't snap this dude like a twig on sight. What are we? That's just not believable. Who is believing Travis? I really couldn't believe what I was seeing. I just couldn't.
No, Karrion Kross should have brought him the knuckles, because
Yes.
homeboy needed it, because like, oof, yeah. It is what they do. It bugged me that Mick Foley was in town. Glad that he's doing well after the car accident. Maybe that's why he didn't do anything physical. But like, Travis Scott comes out with the Cactus Jack hardcore title, and I don't know why he has that. I'll never like, there was an explanation of it, and I was like, there's nothing there that's hardcore about Travis Scott, except I will say this, because I looked it up just now, because I was like, I remember there being like a legal battle, and it was his concert where there was a crowd crush.
Yes.
And people died.
And his response left a lot to be desired.
Right. And at the same time, okay, so that's what I thought. I was like, man, he really didn't do. Yeah. I can't imagine what it's like to be a part of that, where people die, and you have to just sit there and watch. Yeah. And then everybody points their finger at you, and they're like, this is your fault. It's got to be challenging in its own right.
Mm-hmm.
But
and we know Ariana Grande, different situation, but deaths at her concert.
It happened at there was totally a riot.
Not her fault. And,
there was a riot at a Dave Matthews Band concert. People are going to riot or push. Pearl Jam, I think, had a concert in like Germany or something where there was a crowd crush situation. I was at a Green Day concert, and could tell you we were 3 rows back from the barricade. Thinking about it now, I'm like, oh man, we could have. The amount of pressure that happens from the back, I've never experienced anything like that. 9,000 people all pushing forward. When you're that far up, I got pushed so hard I popped up, like I was standing on legs and stuff. Like I didn't even touch the floor. It was awesome. My girlfriend was terrified, but it was awesome at the time. I was just like, woohoo. And I was like, I don't care. Whatever. I'm not even on the ground. What do I care? I'll let them do the work. But it was just like to realize that you don't have control. If something happens, you don't have any control. It's terrifying. I would never do that now. I'm older and wiser and less stupid. But yeah, I could see that. I don't know why I'm going on about this. I guess this is the only part of the hardcore I can think of. So my headline, Paul Heyman is the greatest non-wrestling talent in wrestling history. I will hear no other offers. It's Paul Heyman, the end. The way that not only did he double cross with low blows, both guys in the ring after hitting CM Punk, it was the window wash nut shot that he gave to Roman, where he went, pa, left, right, and then released. Like, that guy, it's just to be like maximum despicable. And then to hand the chair off to Seth, he hands the chair off and goes like that with the release, like, ha, take that. It's just so irritating and so good. I was just like, this guy just knows exactly how to get under your skin. Even if you're like, this is pretty awesome. This is something I haven't seen Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins. What's that look like? I can't wait to find out more. I still was like, oh, he's an asshole. Like the whole time I was like, this is the fry of this dude because he's just so irritating, but he's so good at making me feel that I can't think of anybody else that I would put on that list with him that comes to that level. There are certainly other people that you could put on a list of managers and some things like that. But Paul Heyman's kind of been everything that you could do. Like he's done commentary. He's been a manager. He's been a promoter. He's an advocate, a wise man. He's done all of those things. Bobby the Brain Heenan is probably the next closest thing, but I think of him as a commentator more than I do anything else outside of an in-ring talent. I can't think of anybody else that comes close. So I'm going to say Paul Heyman, greatest non-wrestling talent in wrestling history.
I'm good with that. I really am. Your breakdown was incredible. I'm eager to see if Heyman and Seth is the long-term player, if there's a swerve impending, because I don't know that Seth needs Paul Heyman.
Well,
he can
maybe
do it on his own, unless he just wants to spite his two current, his rivals, arch nemesis, Roman Reigns and CM Punk. I'm eager to see, okay, is this really the plan for the rest of the year, or is there something else coming? Is Seth that diabolical that he may have another game plan?
I think everybody, Roman Reigns, CM Punk, Seth Rollins. I'm comfortable with saying CM Punk's Roman Reigns, same playing field, same level with the fans.
Sure, definitely.
Seth's song, same level with the fans.
Right.
Seth, not.
Right.
And I think this might be that thing that takes him to that next step. I don't know what it is, because I think he's probably this might be a hot take. I think Seth Rollins might be the best wrestler in the world overall right now. Everybody.
Yeah.
Like every single talent. If I were to start a company and they were like, who can do every single thing at the top of their game better than anybody, I'm grabbing Seth. Yeah. He's believable. He's convincing. He could be a heel. He could be a baby face.
And dare I say, especially in this week we're coming off of with podcast interviews and Vanity Fair interviews, for my own proclivities, Seth just seems like a real one.
Yeah.
Seems like he's always been about that action. He's always been a good dude. Some may say, oh, he's a company guy or what have you, but just seems like he's a real one and a great morale addition for any locker room. I'm pro Seth.
Yeah. Well, fine. Forget it's Seth. Okay. It's Tyler Black. If we got to go that route.
Hey, yes,
right.
yes.
We'll just
How
say
can I not?
So yeah. But yeah, I was just like, man, number one, Paul Heyman, but Seth is incredible.
Yeah. Okay. We're already at our last picks.
We're at 5.
Have a few contenders. I'm going to go with this 5th and final headline, Brad. Obviously, the aforementioned Joe Hendry, we say his name and he appears, which we saw tonight. He was the surprise opponent for Randy Orton.
Yes. Huge pop.
Here's my headline, though. Rather than leaning into the say his name, we need to put some respect back on Joe Hendry's name. We may see this differently, Brad. We have to talk about it. What in the world was this? Joe Hendry comes out. I'm all here for it. Big pop from the audience. Big pop in Marana, which you confirmed. If we're looking at the match times from this show,
it's abysmal.
The second quickest match was Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch defeating Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez.
That one is egregious.
Under 9 minutes. Okay, right? And granted, Logan Paul defeating AJ Styles, nearly 18 minutes. That could be a separate conversation. I have issue with that. Randy Orton defeating Joe Hendry, 3 minutes. Now, I have so many thoughts on this. Joe Hendry is ostensibly the face of TNA right now. To me, it seems like a layup that he's going to be a future WWE contracted wrestler. I mean, to me, we saw this with Jordan Grace. I think that's going to be the long game for Joe Hendry. But obviously, TNA has benefited from the WWE partnership. There's no doubt they're doing bigger arenas. Brad, they're even coming to Tempe, Arizona this summer. They haven't been to Arizona in 12 years. They're doing well business-wise, but I don't understand when their champions come over to WWE or NXT. I already have issue with them losing a lot, but the formula is a Roxanne Perez versus Jordan Grace from last summer. I believe they had that in the UFC compound or what have you, where they had that competitive match. We didn't know who was going to win. Right. Joe Hendry, the face of the men's division in TNA. By the way, they have a pay-per-view in 1 week, Rebellion, from the campus of USC. Really big deal. I thought for sure we were strapping in for a 12 to 13 minute competitive. Orton's going to win, no doubt, but a competitive back and forth match, contest, if you will. Randy Orton effectively squashed Joe Hendry in 3 minutes. And then, Brad, I was already hot about that. And then the post-match, I texted you this in real time. Orton helps Hendry get up. And I say, oh, okay, well, at least you're going to get the moment where, dap it, okay, good luck at Rebellion this weekend. You're in the main event, and we want people to buy the pay-per-view. And then he just RKOs Joe Hendry a second time. And then does the pose. I'm speechless.
You got to give the people what they want, Tyler. You got to do the... Because that's a snake, I think. I don't know.
I suppose so. I just wonder if I'm TNA and if I'm Joe Hendry. I'm sure Joe Hendry was thrilled to be there. If I'm TNA Brass, who apparently leave a lot to be desired with some of their recent decisions, Gail Kim, etc. Again, Tessa Blanchard, I think, is going to be coordinated in LA this weekend. Okay. If I'm TNA Brass, if I'm Joe Hendry, how do I feel about this? Was this a net win? Because I'm feeling like, he's the face of our company, and we couldn't even give him an 8-minute contest. It's not like the show was running long by any means. I have questions about that, but again, the headline here: don't need to say his name yet. Put some respect on Joe Hendry's name, yo. What are we doing?
Let's see. In social media last year, there were 660 million views across WWE platforms. I'm not sure. Wow. Okay. It was the most streamed entertainment event on Peacock with 1.3 billion live minutes viewed. So think about how many times since we started this was last year's, and this year's, all those numbers aren't out yet, but how many times when you were talking to me about this, did you say the 3 letters TNA? I feel like it was +6 at least.
A lot.
You said TNA about
more.
You kept saying, how does TNA
Rebellion
he's the TNA championship, TNA Rebellion, TNA has been the city. He's the TNA champ, TNA. It was on WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So like what? Probably 4, 5, 6 million people probably watched tonight live.
Yeah. The equivalent of like 3 or 4 USC gyms.
Yeah. Except now this was streaming globally. So my guess is those numbers are probably going to double. Maybe more. They were going like for the first time in India. I don't know if you know this about India, Tyler, but there's a lot of people in India. So if you get 1% of the population to watch WrestleMania, oh my God, the numbers are going to be crazy. That many people just found out about TNA. Forget Joe Hendry, just TNA. Oh, that's a thing that exists.
He came out with the belt, and
did
they mention Rebellion at all? I thought. Again, I worked myself into this idea. Okay, we're going to get a 10-minute competitive contest. They're going to mention Rebellion is this weekend. Hendry's defending against Frankie Kazarian and NXT's Ethan Page. And maybe the argument is Henry's going to win on Sunday. Maybe he even pins Ethan Page, let's say. So he's going to get his get back. I just thought, man, I had no expectation he was going to win that match, but I did not think we're going to go Orton in 3 minutes and an RKO after the match.
I'm trying to see if it was released yet. I'd have to go back and look, but I can't find it. My guess is that it was like 10 to, it's probably closer to 10, maybe 10, 15 minutes of total segment time. So the match was 3 minutes and 10 minutes or 10 seconds long, but I think I know it's a squash, I don't think you remember it the way I remember it. Joe Hendry had almost all of the offense for the first half of that match.
Right.
And then Randy would hit him with something, and then
Right.
Joe would immediately get Randy back. It was a
Right.
pretty even back and forth until Joe got cocky, did the
Out of
turn, and got
nowhere.
RKO'd. So, like, I had no problem with that because he was winning until he was stupid.
Well, I remember the first time he popped up in NXT when he was the first guy eliminated
In
NXT,
like 0.2 seconds. He got he got bushwhackered.
Maybe I need to rethink. Yeah, maybe I need to rethink how I view Joe Hendry. I don't necessarily. This sounds silly saying it out loud. I don't think of him as that classic comedy wrestler who can't go. I've seen enough Joe Hendry matches where when he turns it on, it's kind of in a way reminiscent of Orange Cassidy.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
The delivery is different, but at least Orange Cassidy has reached a point in his career where he's not doing that silly stuff all the time anymore. I feel like we've reached that place with Joe Hendry.
OC in the ring is like leaps and bounds.
Oh, he's one of the
what Joe Hendry.
He's one of the best wrestlers in the world. Right?
I think, from what I've seen. I don't actually know because I've seen what Joe Hendry does. Mm-hmm. I don't know if Joe Hendry could do more. It's sort of like imagine going in and seeing John Cena before he became John Cena, and seeing like doing Hurricane Ranas and doing all kinds of stuff, like the Ohio Valley, the OVC stuff, OVCW or OVW.
Yeah. Right.
So I guess there's that, but he seems to, and it would make sense considering where he's from, to wrestle a very like English European style wrestling. And he reminds me a lot of Regal, but not like as tall and lanky, but he reminds me of Regal. I'm just going to like ham fist you and kick you and then slam you to the mat and hit you really hard. And that's kind of it. That's old school graps. So when you put him in there with somebody like Randy Orton, who is kind of a freak of nature, I never realized how much of a freak of nature Randy Orton was until you get into the more modern era of wrestling when everybody's kind of smaller. Because when he started out, he seemed small to me. And I know he's put on a lot of muscle mass and all of that, but like he's a giant human being. So like when they're like, he's 280 pounds.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
And we love, for example, and I'm glad I saw him in a Snickers commercial on night 2, Carmelo Hayes.
Yes.
And shout out to him for winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Mm-hmm. When you see Randy Orton next to Carmelo Hayes, it's like, oh, okay. I get it. And we love Melo, but it's like, oh, okay. If we're just by scale, I get, like you said, Randy Orton, just Adonis vibes, freak of nature, as you said. And again, maybe, Brad, as we're talking this out, maybe Joe Hendry is a comedy wrestler. I just thought at this point he's transitioned, much like an Orange Cassidy, into being more serious and showing that he's got a bag, he's got moves, he's a champion. But maybe my perception is wrong. Maybe he is more of a comedy act. I just think he's destined to be in WWE ultimately.
The Dudleys were a comedy act. They were like a hard-hitting, hardcore comedy act.
Right.
Like they weren't effing around, but they were also doing silly, like they're brothers. He has a stutter. Yeah, we're brothers. And it's like, are you? Like all of those things are hilarious. And that Devon, it started as a thing where he just really didn't hear it. And then it just sort of built Devon get the tables because he's like, Devon, go get the tables. Then it just built to Devon get the tables. Right. And it's this funny thing. Or the euphoric look on his face after a power bomb. Like all of that is like, it's not funny, but it's funny.
Yeah.
Like he just murdered somebody and he's just like, it's funny, but it's not. Joe Hendry is sort of like doing that stupid turn toward the camera.
Right.
It's very Orange Cassidy. It's
it's
the hitting him with the thumbs up in the middle of the match or
right.
Which he used to do a lot more, to your point.
Yeah.
But it took going to a black denim jacket for him to shift that. So we haven't seen the change from Joe Hendry. He just won the belt because he's the most popular thing going. I wonder if after this acquisition of AAA, if this is like hey, let's create this partnership so we can sort of groom out these wrestlers to then acquire TNA, which is not owned by somebody with like, I guess, intrinsic investment. It's more, this is a money move. We're an investment company trying to grow a brand so we can sell the brand to make money off it. Well, who are your buyers? There's really only 2 viable companies right now in the marketplace that could possibly do it. And it's probably not going to be AEW, unfortunately, but WWE sitting right there. I was shocked to hear AAA got scooped, and I wonder if that was out of fear of what was happening with CMLL and AEW. I'm just happy that AAA is going to get more exposure now, and I think it's cool for everybody involved because they're doing good wrestling. They're doing WWE stuff, but they're still good wrestling. Rather than belaboring the point here, I'll get to my final headline because I'm already talking about it. AAA is going to be available, and it's going to rule. I can't wait for the AAA talent to be available to work with WWE talent. After just going like we're going to stick with only NXT, I think that makes sense in terms of style of wrestling, and to go like we're just going to have some banger matches. NXT seems to be the place to go to just have a match and not have to build a character out and tell a story. It happens there too, but also it's like, no, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to go there. NXT is like the WWE version of what New Japan and AEW do. So it makes all the sense in the world to do it there. But I would really love to see them come over and mix it up with some of the main roster talent. AJ Styles, I don't know if he was just really working me there, but he didn't look right during that match. After he landed that first time, he just looked off.
Yeah. You sent that to me. I'm realizing now, I don't know if I responded. I noticed that.
Yeah. So I'm hoping because I saw the blood on his ear and I was like, I wonder if his equilibrium got shocked, if he got hit in the ear and blew out an eardrum or something. Hoping he's okay.
For sure.
I'm saying this knowing that there's a press conference happening right now, Tyler, and they're probably revealing all of this important information to us. Anyway, I'm excited for AAA.
Yeah, me too. The potential matchups, and granted, I don't claim to be all knowing about AAA whatsoever, but hopefully, obviously WWE is doing very well business wise. My hope is that the talent in AAA that have, I'm sure, worked years and years for a big breakout opportunity are going to get that. And if we can watch this is what we call a full circle moment, Brad. The Stephanie Vaquers of the world who had to grind, even tried out for WWE and heard a no, grinded, went to Mexico, developed their craft. And then in Steph's case, you had Forbidden Door 2024 on the biggest stage that you've been on, had a breakout match, and now, dare I say, she's a household name in wrestling and is beloved by the fan bases. I think she's almost up to 1 million fans on Instagram.
It's crazy.
And this time last year, she was like sub 200,000. So I'm hoping that there will be talent, men and women in AAA, who not only are great wrestlers, but seemingly, decent people outside of the ring. And this could be a huge, huge platform for them, starting as soon as June at that Worlds Collide match. I'm very excited. I can't wait.
I can't wait. And to your point, all this goes back to Sasha, Mercedes Moné, wrestling Stephanie
Money
Vaquer.
changes everything.
Two different promotions wrestling each other that led to Stephanie not going to either of them, which is wild. And look where she is now. She's totally ascended. Yeah. Both of them are in great places. Everybody seems really happy about where they are. And it's like,
I don't even know, but you seem very happy.
Yeah, that's why I spent a lot of time on Blue Sky, which was a very pro AEW space. And I don't know. I enjoyed watching wrestling this weekend, and I didn't want to get all tribal about it. I just wanted to try to enjoy what I enjoy and recognize that they're different products, but we get to see talented people do their thing at the top of their craft and have a good time. And also Logan Paul's there.
Oh, yes, he
incredible wrestler. I'll give him that for all that he is. I don't know if that was a mistake that happened when he went into that cover, because it looked like, oh, maybe something happened there. And then he just instinctively grabbed that leg. And I was like, if that was like hey, this got messed up, because it kind of looked like it got messed up, and he just grabbed that leg and put it in the cover, that's like, that's some S tier in ring work for somebody that doesn't do this full time. Pretty incredible. But his jabroni friend that got just ragdolled into the barricade.
Yes.
I think he was supposed to hit that prime table, right? Like, because that wasn't there the rest of the time. I'm pretty sure he was supposed to be a bowling ball into the pins.
That was also an instant rage moment for me. It seems like at every premium live event, Logan Paul's Goonies, and apparently this is like the top Goonie, but these guys just pop up in his entourage.
Yeah.
I'm just like, and I know it's
who these people are.
Yeah, I know it's to generate heat, and I'm being suckered in because it's working. Yeah. But my thought is, okay, I need to brace myself because I believe sooner than later he's going to challenge main event Jey Uso. And I don't know about you, Brad, but I think the move is going to be Logan Paul defeats Jey Uso and becomes the champ on Monday nights.
Yeah.
Not imminently, but I mean, you get a win over AJ Styles. I don't think he's going for the IC goal for Dom. I think he's going to go straight for that top prize at some point within the year.
Unfortunately, I think you're right on that.
Yeah.
Tyler, did we miss anything?
I just want to give a quick shout out to Dynamite. One of the best Dynamites of the year.
Yes, it was so good, dude.
So good. Mercedes versus Athena. We could have a separate 10-minute segment just dissecting that match. Wow. Will Ospreay, who you are going to get to see live very soon. Will Ospreay versus Konosuke Takeshita was fantastic. The Death Riders are no longer the trios champs. I think
that's shocking.
That's shocking.
When I saw they were main eventing in overtime, I was like, yeah, they're dropping those.
You have. Come on. Fan service. It means something. So big shout out there. And hopefully they'll bounce back with a really strong Dynamite this week. Also, next week, next GI, we will definitely discuss Sinners. I have not seen the movie yet. I meant to this weekend. It didn't happen, but I have to see it.
I'll try
before the next GI.
I will try.
I'm manifesting this, Brad Winchester. So I am already excited and looking forward to next week's GI because I know between WWE, of course, NXT within that umbrella, AEW, pop culture news, including that Sinners review. I know we're going to have a lot of great conversations heading into next week. And by the way, you have a book fair this week. I'm so excited to hear about that.
We have a book fair this week.
Let's look forward to.
The Marana High School signing day is happening later this week for athletics. I have to be in two places at once. We'll see how that goes. And as we were talking, I got an email popping up going, hey, am I excused for the classes I'm missing for the book fair? Could you let me know right now? It's like, it's 9:16. What are we doing?
I'll get back to you. Yeah, I'll get back to you tomorrow morning.
Yeah, maybe.
A lot to look forward to, Brad. A lot to be grateful for. I am grateful for you. This was an awesome conversation. I think you and I were expecting, we'll go 30.
Yeah, I know. Me too. Me too.
Yeah. Have fun. But this is exactly how I hoped it would be. Great conversation. Once again, please let us know what you thought about WrestleMania weekend, what you loved, what left you maybe less than satisfied, and everything in between. Anything regarding pro wrestling and pop culture, you know it is welcome here. Let us know once again at GIPod19 across the social spaces. We are so thankful for you, and we will see you next time. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.